So here's a quick tip for attaching legs to a bench. Where this tip comes into play is when it gets a little bit cramped with these drill holes. I've got several holes that are really close to other pieces of metal. And when you get just a power drill, it's hard to kind of get in there just quite right. So one thing you can do is get your measurements correct, right where you want your legs to be, and use a dark marker or use some kind of marking utensil to mark the holes. Do that quickly here. And then once the holes are marked, then you can get the legs out of the way, and then we're ultimately going to be making pilot holes. So now I can very clearly see all my black marks. So here I see I need to drill pilot holes, 6 pilot holes here and 6 pilot holes here. So that's a little bit easier for you to see when I bring the camera up here. So get something pointy, put it right in the black mark, and this part's pretty simple. What I'm doing here is obviously this isn't drilling a hole. What this is doing is creating a little notch in the wood where the black marks are, because when I get a drill bit and drill into that drill bit's going to want to naturally, when it starts turning, if it were on a flat surface, it may kind of walk along a flat surface, but if you got a little notch in here, that definitely helps keep it right where it needs to be. All right, next I'm going to drill some pilot holes. These legs I use have these screws are like drywall screws, I think. They're not very strong, so I'm gonna be very careful with not using too much pressure to punch these in here. Real quick, if you've never done this before, look at the shaft of the screw, see how the threads protrude out of the shaft. Get a drill bit that is the exact same size as the shaft. You don't want the drill bit to be bigger than the size of the shaft, because now you're taking away material that the individual threads within the screw need to hang on to. There's 4 of them. Because I've used this bench before, or this set of legs before, I know that this corner and this corner are especially difficult for my driver to get into, just because the top of this rubs up against this leg here. So I'm gonna drill this pilot hole at a bit of an angle going into the board, and this pilot hole has a bit of an angle in the opposite way, so that I can more or less have maybe a 30 or 45 degree slant to that particular screw rather than coming at it straight down. Don't know if you noticed on that one, it's kind of hard to drill a pilot hole at an angle, just freehand like this. What helps to do is start straight, quickly pivot, and finish the hole like that. This next part seems obvious. Put the legs on, put the screws in. Caveat is, again, I'm pretty sure these are drywall screws. These drywall screws, they snap easily if you put too much torque in them. So what I'm going to do is screw them in until it feels like it's fighting me too much. And then I'm going to come back later and finish it off by screwing it in manually. Then we'll be done. All right, we're good to go. Thanks for watching.